So, with the flip of the switch, we would have the power to exile billions of people to environmental sacrifice zones. That's the road that we are not inching along. It's happening really, really quickly. So how did we end up here? That where it somehow seems more reasonable to change the color of the sky and the chemical composition of the ocean than to ask someone to take the bus. How did that become reasonable? Now, the movement against climate change is about 24 years old, which is older than most of you in this room, which is really remarkable. That was 1988 when James Hansen first testified before Congress and said that he was almost certain that climate change was happening and that it was human-caused. And plenty of experts knew before then, but that was the moment when the general public could no longer deny that they knew that this was happening. And that was when Bill was writing The End of Nature. So since that point, a lot of people have been trying very hard to do something about this crisis and to build movements that would do that, but it just hasn't worked. And I think there are a couple of reasons I want to talk about. One is, what Bill touched on earlier, which is just the power of the fossil fuel lobby. Again and again, we've seen popular movements rise up to combat climate change. It's not that we haven't tried. We get fired up. We all start to recycle. We start to bicycle. We work like crazy to elect politicians who promise to build an economy based on green jobs and to pass comprehensive energy reform. And we invest our hopes in big, flashy environmental summits in Copenhagen or Rio. And again, this movement has somehow lost momentum and petered out. And why is that? I don't believe it's because, as some people claim, deep down we have some sort of death wish and we don't want to change. I think the problem is that our profound desire to protect life on Earth is a direct threat to Exxon and Shell's desire to remain the most profitable companies on Earth. Their stock price is based on always having in reserve as much as they have in production, and that means that the very thing that we must do to meet this challenge, which is stop the digging, is the very thing they cannot contemplate without staring in the face of their own demise. And it's not just corporations, as we know. Entire countries, like our country, end up waging a wholesale war on truth, attacking scientists and environmental groups simply because the truth challenges their economic paradigm. Faced with such a serious threat to the bottom line, these guys fight like they mean it. Every time the climate movement has gotten its act together, the fossil fuel interests have sent powerful lies into the culture and bankrolled their endless repetition. You know what the lies are: that climate change is a hoax, that climate change will destroy the economy, that you have to choose between a healthy climate and a good job. They've bought politicians, they've blanketed the airwaves, they have attacked our movements from all sides, they have defamed us, they have infiltrated us, and they've, of course, tried to buy us, sometimes successfully. In short, they have behaved as if they are at war, because they are. Not because we hate them, but we really do want an end to their business model, because our survival depends on it. It depends on keeping 80% of their proven reserves in the ground. So they understand this, and they act that way. It's our side, the green movement, if you will, that's been kidding itself. For a very long time, the environmental movement has behaved as if climate change was the one issue that didn't have an enemy, okay? Where it was just like, we're all in this together, even Dick Cheney has grandkids, like we just need to raise enough consciousness and then everybody's gonna get on board, right? But here's the thing, we have an enemy. We have a few of them, and we need to start acting like it. And that's, to me, what's been one of the things that's been so amazing about the past year and a half, because we have been reminded by incredible social movements around the world and in this country that it is possible not only to fight but to win. And we're all indebted to the incredible Quebec student movement. about showing up, not just about making a point, not just about making our voices heard. It's not good enough, not given these stakes. This is a war for the future. It's a war for your future. It's a war for my future. It's a war for my son's future. And I really think that as we talk about how we can connect diverse movements that have been separated, this is something that separates them. You know, you are coming of age in a society at war with your futures, whether it wants to weigh you down with student debt, deny you dignified work, or ravage the natural systems upon which all life depends, all future depends. That's what joins all of this, a war with the future. But I'm so glad to be at an environmental conference. I think for the first time, that is actually talking about the system, not just the symptoms. It's the first time that I can remember, and I want to congratulate you guys because this is a really important moment. You are getting it right after a lot of getting it right. Reason why the legacy of 25 years of climate activism is so disappointing. Because it isn't about sort of pointing fingers and saying you did this wrong. A lot of this is just about an accident of history, which is that the climate movement had cosmic bad timing. And I think the reason why we need to understand this is because it helps us shape how we fight and who we're fighting against. And what do I mean by cosmic bad timing? 1988, right? That's when James Hansen testifies before Congress. That's what Bill's writing the first popular book on climate change. 1989, the Berlin Wall falls. End of history is declared. It is the peak of the hegemonic moment for the neoliberal project. It is, what does the end of history mean? It means there are no other ideas. It is a war declared on our imagination. There is only one model, el modelo, as they say in Latin America, privatization, deregulation, cuts to government spending. You're not allowed to have other ideas. There is no such thing as society. So this crisis hits, which is the essence of a collective crisis, okay, that can only be responded to with communal action, which has to be responded to with profound regulation, with tough regulation, which needs a strong public sector, whether to build public transit system or to protect us from the ravages of climate change that we're facing already. We need all of this to fight climate change, but yet the issue peaks right or breaks into the public consciousness right when you have a war being waged on precisely those ideas. So an environmental movement comes along, and it is a neoliberal environmental movement. It's an environmental movement that says, okay, we're going to deal with the symptoms, but we're going to try to come up with market-based solutions for it. We're going to try to fit it into this existing paradigm. I don't even think it is about saying shame. I think it's just about understanding that this was really, really bad timing for the Earth. It was really bad timing for you. It was a really hard time to put alternatives in the public, but the tides of history are shifting again. That's this moment. And it's just in the nick of time. It's just in the nick of time. But as we think about how this economic model has changed our public institutions, our regulations, the big P politics sphere, I also think we need to recognize that neoliberalism has changed us, has colonized us, okay? It's changed our brains, it's rewired us in ways that make us, broadly us, maybe not you, but a lot of us, uniquely ill-equipped to deal with this particular crisis. It means that our communities are fractured, our public institutions are tattered, our attention spans are splintered, our identities are atomized, our political imaginations for so long have been atrophied. And this confluence of events, perhaps more than anything else, explains our failure thus far to respond to the climate crisis with real resilience rather than layer upon layer of denial.